Hello, what is up, guys? This is Richard and Jordan at the round table here talking about the educational system. Jordan, why don't you explain what the round table is?
Well, the round table is something that we started up today, and because me and Richard, we'll be doing things, and we'll subconsciously drift into these really deep philosophical conversations, and we'll come up with some great ideas, some great opinions that we've never heard before, and we think they're really unique, and we think they're really important. So we want to put these ideas, these discussions out there to maybe encourage discussion with yourself or other people who are watching this, to get the ideas out there and hopefully encourage in small ways innovation and people's ideas to be flowing, because there's a lot of ideas to talk about, a lot of opinions out there. This is nonetheless an opinion show. You're welcome to your own opinion, but I really do post in the comments your opinion on what you think. The one guy is going to watch this. No, seriously. Today we're going to be talking about the educational system, like Richard said. And Richard, would you like to speak first?
Are we gonna have like a mild or coarse language thing, like in our opening?
What do you mean by that?
Can I swear?
I'm limiting you to 2 swears per video.
Okay.
Deal? Shake over the internet. Internet handshake. Internet. Okay, there we go. That needs to be a meme, by the way, if anyone's watching this and can do that.
In any, I lost train of thought. The educational system is, shit. That was a very poorly worded sentence, and that does not help my case here.
That's because you were told by the education system how to word sentences. There we
go. There's so many ways to tackle how bad the educational system is, but the educational system. Where should I start? Alright, let's go to history. I don't know how many of you have heard of something called the Ottoman Empire. I don't know. If you live in America, you probably haven't. The Ottoman Empire was controlled the Middle East, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. During World War
the Middle East, North Africa, the Balkans, and Anatolia.
I never even heard of. They were in World War I, nonetheless. I've never even heard of this country, and it controlled all of that land and fought in World War I on the other side.
The Central Powers.
The Allied. The Central Powers. I want to say Axis, but I didn't want to sound like an idiot.
You would have sounded like an idiot.
The only time I had ever heard of them was when I played a game. That tells you how bad the education is. Also, in one of my classes, someone couldn't point to me where France was, or Spain, or Portugal. And this wasn't just one person. This was rows of people. Couldn't tell them at the teacher where Spain or France was. I think they might have got England right. And some of them didn't even know what the freaking Iberian Peninsula was, or the Scandinavian nations. I mean, I don't understand the stupidity that school system allows, and that's been my history rant. I'll spin it off to Jordan if he wants to add to that or continue with the other one.
Yes, I apologize for the shaky camera when I'm moving, but I get uncomfortable sometimes when I sit. But anyways, no, enough about me. But I have very passionate feelings about education, and in fact, in my English class, and this is how I think education should more be done. In my English class, our teacher, not going to give any names, just out of privacy, but in our English teacher, at the end of the year, started something called the fishbowl discussion, and students could walk up to her with topics of discussion relating to the book we were reading, because it was the English class, and then we'd sit in front of the class and talk about it and get a class discussion going, ideas flowing, innovation. That's how education should work. But education, what it is about these days, is our education system is based off a system. Do you know in modern schooling, let me go back a little bit. Modern schooling began during the Napoleonic Wars, when the Prussians needed a better, well-trained, disciplined army. So they started a school system that encouraged rigid discipline. You had to be here at this time, there at this time, you gotta get this done at this time, you gotta write this down, this many words, and that way, and neat handwriting, and you gotta know what 2 + 1,000 is, you gotta know what algebra is, you gotta, bam, 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 bam. Rigid school system that teaches you nothing but how to memorize things and how to be disciplined. Okay? They used that type of school system to train soldiers. But what we did in our school system, and in Europe in some places, they've modified their school systems because they're not stupid. But in America, we've kept ours the same way it was in the early 1800s. We keep a school system that it teaches you how to memorize facts. You ever played the game of memory? Yeah, you might be good at that, but everything else you're going to suck at. The education system teaches you how to be disciplined. It teaches you to respect authority when sometimes authority doesn't deserve to be respected. It teaches you to memorize facts and trust your superiors when sometimes things aren't facts that they're telling you and your superiors don't deserve to be trusted. It doesn't teach you to have ideas and for them to flow. It doesn't teach you how to think for yourself. You don't learn. What the education system does is they say, oh, well, this is the carbon cycle, and you got to do this thing, and the carbon goes up here, and they call that learning. You memorize it, put it on a paper, get an A. They call that learning. They call that education. Real education.
That when he's done.
Yeah, real education is when you inspire a student to say, you know what? I think that it is really interesting that the atoms in my body came from a star that exploded billions of years ago. I think it's really interesting.
In theory.
Yeah, well, no, that's a fact. And
you have to say in theory, or else people get mad.
Extremist religious people. But no, but sorry, but I want that people need to be able. I lost my train of thought, Richard, but that was get payback for earlier, I guess. But people need to say, "Wow, I think it's really amazing that you can do 2x plus 4x and plus y to the second power and get an answer that's correct every time. I think math is amazing. I love it. I love the mathematical certainties of algebra."
No, you suck at it.
Yeah, I suck at it. I'm talking about But you need teachers, good teachers, who can inspire people, and you need to give these teachers a system to work with that allows them to inspire the students and inspire them to think for themselves, because that is when you're going to learn. You're not going to learn by memorizing facts. That's not learning. That's memorization. There's a big difference. In Japan, in Europe, nowhere else in the world, in no other developed country do we educate our children as poorly as we do here in America. And on a final note, I would just like to say that the federal government spends only 3% of our national budget on education, but yet it spends 13% on welfare and 18% on government pensions. And our military spending and our spending on our military is one of the most in the civilized world. Actually, it is. I think we spend 3 times more, or double our nearest competitor. That is ridiculous. We do all this stuff. We start wars. We invade countries that are innocent. Iraq. We give welfare to lazy people. We give government pensions to people who don't even work anymore. No, not everyone on welfare is lazy, but a lot of people it needs reform. A lot of people are drug addicts and they don't deserve it. Listen, and on government pensions, we care so much about that. We spend so much money on that, but we don't actually invest in the future of the nation, and that is education. Richard?
Okay. What I was going to add to Jordan is when he was talking about memorization, a lot of times when they tell you to memorize something, which that's what they're doing, they're telling you to memorize, they're not even telling you to memorize the right thing. I mean, it's kind of the best example I know of is like science class. Each year in science class, you learn a new thing, you memorize it for the test, you get it locked in your brain. The next year, they tell you, that's wrong, unmemorize it, here's what's right. Like, I guess it would be last year, we were taught that 99% of the universe is plasma, which is not true. 99%, what is it, like 23?
He said 99% of the universe is, our science teacher said that 99% of the matter in the universe is made of plasma. That's not true. Not at all. It's less than 1%. But anyways.
But hold on. But what I was trying to say was, it's true that 99% of baryonic matter, I believe that's true. 99% of
baryonic.
That is baryonic matter is plasma. But not the whole 99%. Like most of our universe is non-baryonic matter, which is like non-visible, like dark matter, dark energy. Unless you don't believe in that stuff, in which case, I don't know what to tell you.
You must have went to school in America.
The other 1%, I guess, is the spaghetti monster. So like he's made of holy spaghetti, and that's matter. But they teach you to memorize. They teach you to memorize the wrong facts. math doesn't really do this. English class, I personally feel English class is useless to a certain point because I really don't need to know how to structure my sentences when I am a perfectly good grammar student. I mean, some people who text message are like, oh
You
my
mean
God,
perfectly articulate? Good grammar? I think maybe you need English class, Richard. No, I'm kidding.
Maybe. Like, I don't need to know how many adjectives I need in a sentence to write the sentence. Never before in my life have I said, did I have an adjective? Fuck! I got an adjective. Let me erase this and fix it. No, it doesn't feel natural. If you're writing a book, which I've sort of kind of tried to write a few books, I haven't finished any of them, and so is Jordan. I've never thought about my sentences. If you think about, like, if you think about the sentences, they're unnatural. That's my rant on English. But, since Jordan talked a while longer, I'll talk a while longer. But, just the stuff they teach you to memorize isn't even correct most of the time. You don't even get the full facts until maybe your senior year, and even then, you don't get the real full facts until
you get to college.
I hope. And if you're in college, I really hope they teach you the facts, or else you're going to have to learn them when you get out, which is not going to be good. And, that's my rant, Jordan. Do you have anything to add to that?
Oh, well, I have a lot to talk about the education system, but I do want to keep these videos relatively short. I do want to say something that really makes me angry. There are bad teachers in the education system.
Oh, God, yeah.
We've met a few of them, have we not, Richard? And there are teachers who are mean to their students, are disrespectful to their students, are flat out bad at their job, are liars.
We're not saying this because we're mad at them. We're saying this because it's flat out true. Like, we're not saying they're mean to the students because we hate them. It's just...
Oh, yeah, and we're not... And let me make this abundantly clear. We're not, those people from the 60s, smoking marijuana, saying, oh, it's the man, it's the man, they're bringing us down, it's the system. No, we're not, saying that. And let me be clear on the issue that most teachers are decent teachers. Every year or two you'll have that teacher who you don't like. Everybody does. But the majority of teachers I have no problem with. In fact, last year I had a teacher who we argued every single day about politics because he considers him, he's like a right-wing conservative and I'm more of a left-wing liberal. And we would argue every single day. But I respected that teacher more than any other teacher. And he was a good teacher because he allowed open discussion. He allowed the ideas to flow. And I learned more in that class than I did in any other class that year. Because those ideas flew. Yeah, everybody else, they didn't, the people who didn't involve themselves in our discussions, our political discussions, didn't learn anything. But the people who did, they became intelligent, they became confident. They actually learned something for once in the school system. Teachers who allow open discussion, like my English teacher, my history teacher. Teachers who believe in their students. Teachers who say, you know what, Johnny, you can do it. If you put in the work and you listen, you can do it. Teachers who think learning is more than memorizing what 2 + 2 is so you can put it down on a math test. Teachers like that, and a school system and a plan that teachers have to follow that is like that. And first of all, I'm for giving teachers more freedom inside the classroom so they don't have to stick to a plan. They can have like a very rough outline as long as, in my opinion, as long as the children or students are passing the tests, the teacher shouldn't have to have a guideline, But that's what they're doing. I mean, that's what a lot of students would do. Like, I remember I heard a story of one college teacher one time, and I'll end it soon. But there was a story of one college teacher one time who would be like, okay, guys, you have a test on this. He would teach them the very basics, and he said, okay, you have the rest of the class, like an hour and a half. You have the rest of the class to do whatever you want as long as it's related to this subject. The test is on Friday, pass it. Just make sure you know it and you pass it. Students in his class who were given that amount of freedom to learn how they want to be interested and look up what they want to, performed better than students in other classes who were talked to and lectured the entire time. there have been repeated studies to show that the more freedom you give students and what they can learn and how they learn, the better they perform. And the more freedom you give teachers and how to teach and how to make and how to let their students learn, the better the better grades the class gets. The better everybody does. Freedom and innovation go hand in hand. You know, they go together like peanut butter and jelly. So
peanut butter jelly time.
Peanut butter jelly, yeah. So
Who said that?
education, just like that goes together. Innovation, freedom and innovation, and intelligence all go together. Just like an educated populace and a successful nation go together. That's why education is important. That's why we got to change now. We can't wait 20 years from now. We can't wait 10 years from now. We're not even 5 years from now. Because that's 5 more years of idiots being trained in an education system that teaches you to be dull, stupid. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, before we end this video, this is more of a rant video than anything else. Put in a comment your opinion, and even if you have a question that you might want us to answer, put that down there as well. This has been the round table. Anything else you would like to say, Jordan?
Oh yeah, I say we definitely would love to hear your opinion. We understand that we're not the only people with opinions in the world. That is most certainly true. Like my history teacher, like my history teacher said, you can be disagreeable. You can disagree without being disagreeable. And we love for you to disagree as long as you're not disagreeable. So put your opinions down in the comments. If you liked the video, give the video a like. If you didn't like the video, I'm sorry. It's, you know, it's what we do. But yeah, well, no. Please tune in to the next episode of the Roundtable. The next episode of the Roundtable will be focused around the Syrian Civil War. So if you know about that, please stick around. Bashar al-Assad, he makes me angry. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I can't snap. See you guys next time on the Roundtable.